Hello everybody, my name is Zerduku and welcome back to Zap Entertainment. I must I must vent today because I've been looking over my stuff again and it's been like probably more than a month since I re-released Music Girl, the re-edited version that I did with the help of my mom, of course. Sorry, drink break. Um And realizing that even though I have 15 views, but no comments, that I just had a situation where I just had to sit down and rethink everything that I'm doing because I feel like everything I'm doing is completely pointless. Like, there's literally no point of me writing because I'm just gonna be ignored as I always am. It seems that the only time when people pay attention is when I do reactions, but I it's stupid because it's somebody else's video, so I'd rather not, do that. Um and I was planning on uh kind of re-releasing quote unquote my Battle Quest series. But what's the point if you guys are not even gonna talk about it? Why would I put so much work and effort if people are just going to pretend that I don't exist? I've been down this road so many times that I literally don't have an actual number, like, of how many times where I realize just how lonely, isolating, and pointless my life is because people just don't care. It's horrible. I don't understand why. I mean, seriously. Okay, people can say that, hey, oh, I'm just busy. I can't find the time to read your stories because it. And they also come up with the excuse that it's too difficult for my books to get to. I tell you guys what to do all the fucking time. It's bullshit. It should not. It's not that hard. Go get Discord, download the book on your PC, and if you do not have a PC, go to Archive of My Own, type in Zerduku. I mean, you should be able to find my stories. That it's not that hard. And a matter of fact, I even number them, so it should be that hard for you to find, episode 1, 2, and 3. Well, book 1, book 2, book 3. There is a season thing, but I don't think I would ever be able to get to the second seasons of any of my short stories because people just don't care. As a result, I kind of just can't find, you know, the the motivation to push myself into the next season of any of my short stories. Um, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. It's at a point where I'm just like, you know what? Just stop caring about people. But the problem is, if I get that far to the point where I just stop caring, then the person that I will wind up becoming is not a very good person. It would make me a very mean, evil person, like a very bitter person to the point where, you know what? If you guys kill each other, I'm not gonna fucking care. I don't care who dies. Well, why waste my time with your guys' lives? I mean, uh, someone got shot. Yep, who cares? That's basically what I would wind up becoming. Is at a point where I'm just like, I literally just don't care about people anymore. It is literally that draining to the point where I just get to the point where I just stop caring about anybody or anything. Matter of fact, there's even times where I'm like, I wish that someone would either nuke the world or wipe out all humanity because we're not worth it. We're not worth the time. If anything, we're just a menace. Um, but better way to describe us, we're like pests. We need to be exterminated. We need to be wiped out. That's what it starts to feel like at a certain point. And I don't like to think like that because if you stop and think about the fact that we create art and we can build monumental things and stuff, and we can work together and create something beautiful and benevolent, that you can stop and think and realize that, you know, humanity can become something so gorgeous that words cannot really describe it. Um, and honestly, I feel like that's the concept of Star Trek is, human beings that become benevolent to a point where we don't need things like money. We can explore and become and make ourselves in anything that we want. We can choose to be anybody we want. But instead, we we either abu- uh, abuse that power, or we just throw away our empathy for each other. And it's really, really bad. And when you're an autistic artist that doesn't have any other skills other than come up with stories, that's literally your only skill in life, then it gets to the point where you're worthless. You don't have anything to contribute anymore. Now that I think about it, you don't really see much real artwork anymore. Everything is either regurgitated bullshit or it's all about the money. We need to get rid of money really badly. I mean, it's killing us. Our addiction to an economic comedy, or civilization that's dependent on money. It's basically gotten to the point where it's literally like it's like an addictive drug. And eventually, that how addictive drugs can get deadly as you get older. That is exactly what's happening. Our own addiction to money is killing society. It is slowly killing humanity. And yeah, and that's kind of an issue. I kind of feel like, as part of like part of a responsibility for a writer, that I make stories about those things. I've already did with Music Girl, with like a an issue towards the LGBT community in a way. But what's the point of writing those kind of things if people are not even going to read them or even talk about them? I just find myself in a situation where I keep asking myself, what's the point of even living? What's the point of even going on? And I always come to the same conclusion that it's like it is too difficult to exit out of life. So the only thing I can really do is live and hope that I don't wind up with a disease that makes my life more painful than it already is. I've actually gotten so used to my depression and mental pain that it's not doesn't really bother me anymore that much. I mean, it still bothers me, but it's kind of like It's the same regurgitated thoughts. It's nothing new. So it's yeah. But if you throw in like a little bit of physical pain that I have to deal with on top of that, then I'm gonna have to say that you guys are not gonna see me for very much longer after that. But of course, it doesn't help that my mom has been dealing with some health issues. So I don't know. I think Music Girl might be the only book she ever edits for me because she may not be around for very much for much longer. But I do. But her condition is not terminal, so she could pull through, and so she might still be kicking after years after this video. But I guess it depends on what the future holds. And the thing is, we're not in control of the future. And I know that. I know that I'm not in control of the future. But you would think that how interesting some of my stories are. I will admit that some of my books are kind of dumb. Like Poison Tentacles of the Deep has to be one of my worst writing. Operation Chimera was terrible. Those books were pretty bad. But Battle Quest, the Party series, those two stories that those two series that I've written so far, I think are pretty good. They're my favorites because even when people read it to me, it's like, you start to become a little bit invested a little bit. And yes, my characters are a little flat, but like I said before, I'm an amateur writer. I don't know what I'm doing. Your comments would make a big difference. Showing me the ropes a little bit more, making giving me like, if you guys communicate more with me with comments of my stories, it would give me kind of like a solid like wall or ropes to understand where how I should approach my ideas and my stories, and that would actually help me go forward. But because that no one is saying anything, I'm kind of just like lost in the mist, going in random directions and not knowing where the fuck I'm going. I'm kind of just like, moving around my own way, which some people might say that's a good thing, but I'm not 100% sure if that is good. Because there's always that, consequences of what happens to other people when you say something to others in a way, and that is part of it. But there's also the standard concept where everybody has their own standards of where they feel that something should happen. For an example, people did not like the fact that I had stories where there was a lot of like romance stuff happen between young characters, and they would sometimes get into like almost a sexual relationships almost. But I feel like those were meant specifically for the idea of this shipping characters, because I feel like if there are characters that people would like, they would like to like to see their the characters that get they get the girl, to get the guy, because I feel like that would be that's something that would be satisfying to the audience. So I feel like that is necessary in order to be in the stories. There's also the concept, for Rise of Demonic Kids 4 was the idea that I wanted to make a certain like tone, a gritty tone. So the idea of having sex part of those books was important because keep in mind, Rise of Demonic Kids 4 was inspired by The Devil's Rejects from Rob Zombie. So I felt like it was necessary to have nudity, even though that yes, it's Rise of Demonic Kids for kid characters. I kind of like envisioned it as sort of like a really dark anime in my head. That's how I kind of envisioned it. Uh, and I think since I'm talking about books, how how I approached my previous stories. If you guys want to know more about certain specific stories, especially the ones you might like, you should leave it down in the comments, and I will tell you guys of how those books came to be and how it, why certain ideas are certain ways. But I know you guys are not going to watch this video. No one's going to watch this video because no one gives a shit about me. It's one of those things where I know for a fact if I died tomorrow, nobody's gonna fucking care. The concept of empathy has died in our society, and that's bad. We cannot allow empathy to be lost. But we're allowing empathy to be lost because I don't know. People are just being stupid, and I don't know why. Oh, got the hiccups. Sorry. Now, another reason why I haven't really been working on, trying to get Punky to work on my Battle Quest books is because I got a lot of stuff I gotta do before I can. I basically gotta clear up some things in my life first in order to go back to working on my stories. And on top of that, the only thing I have for writing right now is Windows Dictation 11. And yes, I do have OpenOffice? What is it called? Give me a second. Yeah, OpenOffice. I do have that. But the thing is, OpenOffice is only a platform for me to write my books and how I can send it onto Discord. And Windows 11 dictation is for me when I speak into my microphone. It types for me. But there's a problem with Windows 11. The issue is that it keeps putting stars in front of swear words and like descriptions of sexual content, and that means I have to type it myself, and my typing is very terrible. And without editors, it's a problem. And like I said, my mom is not doing very well, so she may not be able to edit my stories, even if I did go back to writing. So that makes it even worse. But of course, even if she was feeling well, I wouldn't go back to writing without a proper dictation program. And I do have something. It's some sort of Russian word. It's a program that reads back to me anything that I voice into my microphone to type for me, and it reads back to me. That's another tool that I have, and that tool is very useful. I'm keeping that. That's perfect. It has no issues whatsoever. It's this Windows 11 dictation program that I need to take care of, but that's going to take time and money. And also, even if I do manage to get the Dragon program microphone, which I do plan on getting, which is a lot of money that I do have to spend on it, even if I do get it, there's still the issue of that it may not work. And if that's the case, I have to rethink my way of going through it, which is going to slow down things. I probably won't be able to get back to any writing until like probably close to December, probably after sometime in November, probably. And so that's just the way things are. But as for oh, Jesus, that must have been very loud. You know what? How about I just cut the sound down a little bit? There we go. Hopefully that'll be better for you guys. Because my thing just went red bar. What was I saying? I can't remember now. Oh yeah. Oh yes, Battle Quest. I'm not gonna redo those until I'm done dealing with my life issues. And once I get like things all settled, other things settled, I'll get to work on it and I'll be sending Punky a message and so forth. But I just needed to vent because I've been feeling very depressed again. And it really would be nice if people would be around me a little bit because I think my issue is loneliness, is all it really is. Well, that's pretty much all I have to really say. So, please like and subscribe, and please say something, anything. And this is Urduku signing out.